Good morning, class. Today we will start our class with the chapter 3 and 4, that is the sentence and the elements of the sentence. We have already studied this chapter, so today we will have a revision of this chapter. So, all of you, whatever we are speaking since the starting of this period, whatever I'm speaking, these are the sentences. What is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words which makes a complete sentence. Sorry, which makes a complete sense. So, sentence is a group of words which makes complete sense. What is a sentence? A group of words which makes complete sentence. Sorry, complete sense. Now, whenever we are speaking, we speak uh, in a normal way, but when we are writing a sentence, then the important thing to remember is that a sentence always starts with a capital letter, means the first letter the first letter of the first word of the sentence must be a capital letter, and the sentence ends with a full stop or the question mark or the exclamation mark, and these marks with which the sentence ends determine the type of sentence. For example, it is a book. So here you can see the first word is it, and I wrote I capital because the first letter must be a capital letter for each and every sentence. Now the next thing is it has a full stop at the end. So these are the two compulsory things for each and every sentence. However, at the end, it can be full stop, it can be question mark, or it can be an exclamation mark. For example, this is a simple sentence, so I put here full stop. The next is what is this? So you know that what is an question word. We have discussed these things while we were studying the tenses. What is a question word? So here it is asked about a particular object. What is this? And we put here the question mark because it is a question. Now, what a wonderful book it is. And we put the exclamation mark. So this will be the exclamation. Now, on the basis of these signs or symbols, we determine the type of sentence. So, here we are going to study the four types of sentences on the basis of these marks which are put at the end of a particular sentence. What are these? The first one is the statement, or it is also known as the declarative or assertive sentence. Now, what is a declarative or an assertive sentence? A simple sentence is an declarative or the assertive sentence, as I gave you the previous example. Or we can take another example. Rohit is a good boy. It is simply a statement. We are telling about something, we are asserting something, we are telling about Rohit that he is a good boy. So the sentence is starting with Rohit, where R is capital, and at the end of sentence I put a full stop. So here this particular sentence is statement, or we can also call it the declarative or the assertive sentence. Now, the second kind of question, the second kind of sentence will be the question, or we can also call it interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence. What is an interrogative sentence? An interrogative sentence is the one in which a question is asked. It may start with a question word, it may not start with a question word, as we have discussed when we were discussing about the tenses, that interrogative sentences are of two kinds. The one that starts with the question word, and the other one which starts with the helping verb. So, if a interrogative sentence or a question is starting with a question word, what are the question words? What, why, where, when, whom, how, all these are the question words. So if a sentence is starting with any of these words, we can easily identify that it is an interrogative sentence. But how we will identify if the question word is not there? Then how we will identify whether it is an interrogative sentence? So that we can identify with the help of the question mark. When we were discussing, I told you it is compulsory to put a question mark at the end of an interrogative sentence. So, for example, what are you doing? You can easily identify that it is an interrogative sentence. Why? Because here the sentence is starting with a question word. What is the question word here? What? And at the end I put a question mark. Also here the W is capital. Always remember, what is a question word and the W is capital. So it can be easily identified that it is an interrogative sentence or the question, because it is starting with a question word. Second, are you going somewhere? Now, the second kind of sentence in which the sentence is starting with the helping verb. This is the another kind of interrogative sentence. If the sentence is given in such a form, then how will you identify whether it is interrogative or not? Very easy. Question mark. Whenever there is a question mark there at the end of a sentence, it will be the question or the interrogative sentence. So with the help of this question mark, you can easily identify the kind of sentence it is. Now, the third one is the command. The third kind of sentence that we are going to discuss is the command. or we also call it imperative. What is an imperative sentence? Or, as it is suggested by the name, that any sentence in which an instruction is given, a command is given. You must understand the difference between a statement and a command. Here, because both of these sentences ends with a full stop. Whenever we are talking about the question or the interrogative sentences, it is easy to identify because they always have a question mark at the end. But when we are talking about the statement and the command, in both these cases, your sentence will start with the capital letter and ends with the full stop. For example, come here, sit down, close the door. All these are the sentences which are commands, means in which an instruction is passed to someone. Someone is asked to follow the instruction. Come here, sit down, close the door. Here, in all the sentences, you can see the sentence is starting with the capital word and it is ending with the full stop. So, in most of the cases, how will you identify? In most of the cases, the command will not have a subject. See, what are the subjects? Whenever we are talking about ourselves, whenever we are using the nouns and pronouns in the starting, then usually it has the subject. What are the subjects? It usually a noun or the pronoun. But here all these sentences are starting with the verb only. Come is the verb, sit is the verb, close is the verb. So all these sentences here are starting with verb. That's why they are the command. They will always start with the the capital letter and end with the full stop. So in this way, you can identify or you can differentiate between a statement or assertive or declarative sentence and a command or imperative sentence. Even when you are speaking, you can understand whether it is a statement or a command. But this is the way in most of the cases it does not have any subject. It starts with the verb only. So here you can identify that it is a command. Now, the last one is the exclamation, or we also call it exclamatory sentence. The fourth one is exclamation, or we also call it exclamatory sentence. What is an exclamatory sentence? Whenever we are expressing some feeling, expression, then it is the exclamatory sentence. And whenever we are talking about the exclamatory sentence will always start with the capital letter and it will always end with the exclamation mark. For example, how useful the computer is. And what is the exclamation mark, a standing line and a full stop or dot. That will make the exclamation mark. So here now for the interrogative sentence and for the exclamatory statement or the sentences, it is clear. You can easily identify these sentences with the end of the sentence. If it is a question mark, it is an interrogative sentence. If it is an exclamation symbol, then it is an exclamatory sentence. And for the statement in command, I told you in both the cases we will put the full stop at the end of the sentence. But how we can identify that statement will have a subject and command usually do not have the subject. So these are the four kinds of statements, or sorry, these are the four kinds of sentences.